assumed charge as a Secretary, Department of Agriculture and Cooperation this February 2015. He has also earlier worked in the Department of Agriculture and Cooperation, the Ministry of Agriculture, as the Additional Secretary and the Special Secretary. Before that appointment, he was a secretary to Ministry of Food Processing Industries, and he has served the Government of India in various capacities, including the Deputy Managing Director, National Cooperative Development Corporation, the Joint Secretary in Department of Food and Public Distribution, and the Chairman cum Managing Director of the Food Corporation of India. And before that, he's also served for 5 years as the Vice Chancellor of Jamia Hamdard University. It's once again an honor to have you on our today's program, sir. Thank you very much for joining us, and can we now hear from you? Please put your hands together, everybody, and welcome him once again.
Thank you, Dr. Penn, Mr. Reddy, Mr. Sanjeev Chopra, Excellencies and friends. I am thankful to the organization for inviting me to an informed audience. I am also very happy to be present here because I have heard the scenario projected by a very informed and knowledgeable person who has also the experience of working in the Department of Agriculture of the Government of United States. Unfortunately, in the trade negotiations, we are not quite on the same page as the US and several other economies. There are huge areas of differences, especially the difference related to public holding of stocks. It is a complex subject and also a controversial one, so I will not like to go into that. But in continuation of the question asked there, I would only like to say that, sometimes we think that the two countries could be compared because there is an impression created by the media as if a lot of things have changed so substantially that we have sort of achieved parity or near parity with the developed economies. I would only like to inform you, if you do not already know, many of you would already know, that the average size of a farm in India is 1.16 hectares, just 1.16 hectares. And about 45% of the farm holdings in India are less than 2 hectares. So about 45% of farm holdings are less than 2 hectares, and average farm size is 1.16 hectare. In the US, the average farm size is 176 hectares, 176. So there is hardly any comparison. We are at the level of subsistence farming, and we have not so far been able to convince our friends that it is mostly the poor, the resource-poor farmers in India who are hand to mouth in every respect, who work very hard, who face the vagaries of nature, and yet produce some surplus food which is then bought by the government in case of certain commodities, and which is then supplied through the public distribution system. So, certain policies may need a change, there is no doubt, but it has to be very carefully thought about. And surely it is very well known that in 2008-9, when we had the world prices skyrocketing, there were at least 30 countries in the world which had food riots. India was not one of them, except some stray cases in West Bengal, where some ration shops were mobbed by people. There was no case in India of any looting of stocks or anybody attacking the godowns or anything like that. We had food riots in about 30 countries at different locations. So it is a subject of intense discussion, but not for today. Today I will touch upon only one point which I think is absolutely critical to the success of our agriculture, and that is the government's effort to create a national agriculture market. We have been working very hard in that direction. In our economic survey of this year, there was a full chapter devoted to the national agriculture market. As you know, the markets in India are extremely fragmented. Even within a state, for trading in the agricultural commodities, one needs a license from every single APMC or the agriculture market. So in UP, if somebody wants to buy an agriculture commodity from Varanasi or Ghazipur, and if he's sitting in Meerut, he can't do that. You need a license from every single mandi to purchase or sell an agricultural commodity. This government is very much committed to creating a national platform for trading. And for that, we have already gone ahead. Our ministers of about 12 states have visited the state level agriculture market, which has been attempted in Karnataka. They have set up a national platform for electronic trading of agricultural commodities, through which you need just one license for trading in the whole state. So a person could be sitting in Mysore, but he can buy any agricultural commodity from Hubli. Only one license is needed. And like the stock exchange, the trading is electronic. So you could place your order at 3 o'clock. The order will either be accepted or it will be rejected, and the deal is through. It is early days. Some 70 odd markets in Karnataka are already connected. The central government is giving grant to various state governments at the rate of 30 lakh rupees, 3 million rupees per mandi. We want more and more state governments to join this. We have already been successful in persuading the state governments of Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, and Maharashtra to join this. In the next few days, we expect the state governments of Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh, Odisha to also join. So which means that once this national platform, electronic platform for market is created, there will be integration, which will also result in better price to farmers. As we all know, when farmers sell their commodities, the prices tend to go down. And once he has sold off, the prices tend to rise. There was a very unfortunate, if I may say so, incidents in Haryana recently. When the basmati paddy was coming in the market, the prices crashed to some 25 to 28 rupees a kilogram for basmati paddy, for which the farmers were getting up to 60 rupees 3 years back. This year it crashed to 25 to 28 rupees. And as soon as the public procurement was over, the procurement period was over. As you know, the government does not procure basmati paddy because it is more expensive. Government procures only the common variety of paddy. As soon as the government's procurement period was over, the prices rose in one day by 10 rupees a kilo. So the farmers are unfortunately having very small holdings, as I explained, 1.16 hectare on an average, and they are not organized, and the market is not integrated. Every single mandi is a different market in itself. Every state is like a country. The government is trying very hard to break these barriers. In case of agriculture, we are setting up a national agriculture market. Even in case of non-agricultural commodities, all commodities in fact, the government is very keen on GST, which is being very intensely debated. And I, for one, am quite confident that in this session itself, we should see a solution to this great challenge of creating a national market for agricultural products. This is particularly important in case of horticultural products because the shelf life is very short. We see lychee, such a beautiful fruit, but the shelf life is only about 2 weeks, maximum 3 weeks. So in 2 weeks, the entire crop has to be sold, transported. Unfortunately, the facilities for transportation and storage, etc., are not very good. Therefore, we feel that one of the game changers in Indian agriculture is going to be the setting up of national agriculture market. I would also request all of you to keep yourself updated about the negotiations which are going to take place in Kenya next month, because it is absolutely important for India, absolutely critical for India to get the support of the global community for keeping public stocks. We have taken a position. You know, several countries have moved in different directions. Somehow, over a period of time, the way WTO negotiations were initially carried out, you know, certain formulae were arrived at, which are not doing us any great favor. The way the language was written, the way the formulation was made, the developing countries, India is one of them, even other developing countries are facing problems due to that. I hope that there will be a solution to the problem of public stock holding, as well as other problems relating to agriculture. As far as possible, the government support to the agriculture sector is going to continue. Very soon, maybe in another week or 2 weeks, we will see a new crop insurance policy which will make it much cheaper for farmers and will make it much more economical for them to purchase insurance policies for crop insurance. We have seen last Kharif damaged badly, Kharif 2014 damaged very badly due to drought-like conditions. Rabi 2014-15 again damaged due to hailstorm, untimely rains. Kharif 2015 again affected by drought-like conditions. Rabi 2015, we are early days, but we have seen in Tamil Nadu so much of damage to crops. So our farmers are struggling with bad weather, and with 1 hectare of average land, obviously we can expect how much can they fight the nature. Therefore, the farmers do need the support of the government. It is the responsibility of civil society, people sitting in this room and people like us, to provide that support, that comfort to farmers, because many a times we in the agriculture ministry feels that if prices of any commodity go up a little bit, there is so much of noise on media, but when the prices fall, there is not, you know, so much of murmur, and it is not picked up by media and it is not discussed on any TV channel. So I'm really thankful to the organization for inviting me. It is a new organization, ILFI, and I hope that they will continue to organize meaningful discussions. I'm also particularly happy to see so many excellencies from other countries. It is good to understand how the developing countries see the things in global perspective and how we can join hands for mutual benefit, so that the commodities which are ideally suited for a particular agroclimatic zone are grown there, and there is more free trade, more free flow of goods from one country to another country, so that the farmers everywhere can benefit. One last thing, the number of farmers dependent on agriculture has to go down in the longer run. Too many people in India are dependent on agriculture. Therefore, the government is also working out on a leasing policy which will make the farm size larger and will make it more viable for agriculture, for farmers, so that whosoever stays in agriculture can earn a decent income. Thank you very much.